The year is 2018. Nations are divided, paranoia runs rampant, and as soon as you think you're safe, facts become subjective.
You are listening to Conspiracy Facts.
Jum, 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 jum.
Spooky
Spooky
stuff.
Sundays.
Guys, happy Halloween. If you're listening to this,
It's Halloween.
it's depending on, well, if you're a patron, you get it early on Patreon. So click the link below, go check out Patreon, get the
it
early
could be
podcast.
Halloween Eve.
Halloween Eve
Or Halloween Eve Eve.
or
Or the eve of Halloween Eve Eve.
that. I think that's actually today.
What
No,
is-
I don't know. Who
No, we're a
fucking
week
cares?
before.
So today's our special. We're doing a Halloween special. I know we've been gone for a month. There's
There's reasons behind
there's
well,
reasons behind everything if you think about it, and we can bring you the facts on that a
The
little
only
later
thing that
on.
there's not reasons behind is life.
Yeah, exactly. Life is
And-
useless, and that's why we celebrate Halloween, because we all want to be dead, and
Yeah.
Halloween's about dead stuff.
Halloween is about death.
I thought that we could start off the Halloween special actually by talking about how we personally celebrate Halloween.
Oh, cool.
So, Dylan, how have you done it throughout the years?
Typically, I pull out the menorah.
Okay.
And the 11 days before Halloween, on the 20th, I light one candle.
That's so interesting. Wow.
And as we get closer, we open up presents and we spin a dreidel, and we eat
Kosher things?
kosher things.
Okay, well, Dylan, I'm not sure if you...
It's
You know how... It's up to everyone. I'm never going to judge someone to how they want to celebrate their holidays.
well, this year we're doing it a little different.
Okay.
Yeah, this year we're dressing up in costumes.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
See, that's...
My girlfriend and we've been trying to figure out what we want to do for.
Are you guys going to do matching costumes?
Yeah, because originally, well, we've been since she's pregnant, we've been trying to.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Oh, my
thank you,
God, I
thank-
have your thing.
Oh, my thing.
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
I want to give it to you.
Do you want to do it on the podcast so everyone can see it?
Yeah, do you want it right now?
Yeah, let's do it right now.
Okay, it's right up there. It's you're gonna have to look where
Oh.
I'm pointing because there's too much stuff up there. It's the white thing that's folded up. No,
Oh, a
that's
video monitor.
that is my video monitor. So no,
This thing.
no, that's a
This thing.
headband. Yes, that's it.
Oh,
That's exactly
sweet.
what it is.
Okay. Let's.
And it might not be. It's not an everyday bib, but it's
I feel like that's an everyday bib for me.
yeah.
It has a baby's cartoon face on a bib, and it says, "I have no clue what I am or what is happening."
I custom made that for you.
Really?
Because I thought, you always see the bibs that say something like, something mischievous, like the baby's supposed to be thinking like, oh, my dad is going to beat you up or something like that. But it's like, what's a baby really thinking?
Also
So that's what I
appropriate.
wanted to represent.
Also appropriate would have been the baby's face and just slamming on your keyboard.
ASDFG. Yeah, and for all you listeners out there of the podcast, you're not going to be able to see this, but it's also visually kind of a masterpiece because
It
I've offset the words and layered them over the baby's face graphic
It's in a light pink.
in a light pink.
I'm gonna wear this for the rest
You
of the
should
podcast.
wear it. Dylan's going to put it on. It's going to look good. I have no idea who I am or what's happening or what is
No idea
happening.
What I am or what's happening. Should we take a picture of this?
Yeah, we're definitely going to need that. Dylan's got a new phone. He's got the Pixel
I got the
XL.
Pixel 3 XL
3.
released last Thursday.
How do you like it?
Well, it's a little tight for me, but I can see myself wearing it.
All right. Wow, that photo quality, amazing. We just snapped a picture, everyone.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm gonna send it to Ty Guy Turner. I'm gonna
Nice.
post it on my story so that way people know what I have. Anyways,
Sorry, I totally derailed us. You were talking about how you and Joanna are looking for matching costumes.
yeah. Also, I'm not gonna wear this for the rest of the episode.
It's tight, isn't it? I put it on too.
Make sure it fit.
Yeah.
We're trying.
That was both of our first instinct was to wear the baby bib.
You should see me trying to fit in the onesies.
Gotta make sure to fit.
Anyways, we're trying to find like a matching costume that incorporates the baby bump.
Oh, cool.
And it's been so difficult because like there's a lot of really creative ones out like on Pinterest, but they're like expensive to make or they're time consuming, both of which we are not interested in.
And you have to be so crafty for that shit.
Yeah.
I see people that like they're like, here's a tutorial about how to make a costume, and it's like, get this plastic and melt it and fold it, and I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, we are Hollywood prop designers. We're using the equipment at our disposal. If you don't have some of these, it may be a little more expensive. Yeah, fucking $500,000.
Yeah, let me pull out my heat gun
Yeah.
and get my little sheets of like polymer or whatever the fuck. Like, I got foam, I got fabric at my disposal.
Yeah, can you make something out of foam core poster board? I've got that, and I've got hot glue.
Yeah,
those are your resources. But we've seen like my favorite one that I've seen is a redneck, like two rednecks, and like she would be a redneck, have a mustache, and like have a wife beater, and like her belly would be her beer gut, and you'd like draw in like hairs on her belly and stuff like that. I liked that one, but she didn't want to do that.
She didn't want to be a redneck with a beer belly. Who would have thought?
I know, and I have all the stuff to be rednecks at. But she woke up the other morning and she's like, "Dylan, I know what I want to be for Halloween." I said, "What's that?" She goes, "Dumbledore." I'm like, "Well, how are we gonna make that happen?"
Go through all this work looking for like pregnancy fucking costumes. Oh, I found it. I found the perfect one.
I want to be Dumbledore. I'm like, how do you want to make?
All right.
I said, if that's what you want to be, I'll make it happen. And so we kept talking. Finally, we were like, maybe Dumbledore for a future date, but. So we decided for this Halloween, we're probably going to, if we can figure out how to do it, we're probably going to be Harry Potter and like a golden snitch, and her belly's going to be the golden snitch. So that's what we're thinking about doing.
She could be Harry Potter and the Golden Snitch.
And I can be Daryl Taylor.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, it's Daryl Taylor.
Jesus Christ. It's Daryl Taylor. It's free real estate.
Anyways, how do you celebrate the holidays?
I do it just the way that everyone else does it. I light a very long candle and
wait for it to burn out.
No, see, I start killing people is the thing. I go on a murdering spree. I get the kids in here, give them the razor blades and the candy, all the whole nine. And then when it does burn out, Jack Skellington comes and he collects the souls and he delivers them to Satan. And that means I
thought he
get to live
delivered
for
them to
one
Davy
more year.
Jones.
Oh no, that's only if you live in the
Jack
Caribbean.
Skellington brought the souls to Davy Jones' locker.
No, you're thinking of Jack Black.
In the School of Rock.
School of Rock. There's a lot of that going on. You know what they say about the music industry? It's
you sell your soul to the devil.
Shit. Exactly. Yep. And that's so. Yeah, I do it the normal way, and that's probably what I'm gonna do this year.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what I've always done. And it's always been one of my favorites. I really do genuinely love Halloween.
Yeah.
You
love it so much. Why don't you marry it?
I have a weird question for you. Did you bring food in here? Oh, my mom's cooking chili. That's what it is. I've been like, it smells like food.
Yeah, it's sort of, I was like wondering this. I mean, I wasn't wondering the same thing, but I noticed it started smelling like food. But it smells like the tacos I just ate, so I didn't question it too much.
You thought it was like in your beard?
Yeah.
Are you growing a mustache out for Movember?
Well, here's what I was thinking about, and I'm trying to convince Joanna to do it. I've told her I can either do to let me do it. My rephrase. I either want to do Movember or I want to do No Shave November. I've always done No Shave November. So last year I did Movember. But this year, since I can actually grow a semi-full beard, I want to just have like the connector, like just shave basically my chin.
Oh,
and have it connect from my sideburns all the way up to my mustache and around. That's what I would love to do for Movember, but I don't know if she will let me.
I mean, it's just facial hair. It's like you can shave it off at any time.
I told her, I said, regardless, I'm gonna like trim at Thanksgiving time when I'm around my family. Yeah, they're gonna take pictures of me.
Right? Yeah, you're gonna want to look right.
Yeah, but
excuse me.
I think I might do something. Are you gonna do a mustache?
I think I might. I've already shaved off my whole beard, and I went through that, which actually sucked a lot more than I expected it to. And it's like, that's the most extreme I think I could ever even get. Like, I could do some weird shit into my beard, but still feel like more comfortable than if I had a completely shaved face. So I'm like, I might as well just go for it and try the mustache. Like, I don't have the full beard anymore. Like, I'm at this weird, like, stubble in between phase. So it's like, I'm really not losing too much if I go ahead and just try a mustache.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to look good.
No. Well,
but you know, it's like I want to know.
Right. Exactly. You know, we could you, me, and Ashley could do like a group project.
That'd be so nice. Let's all three do the mustache. We'll get turtlenecks. We'll take some good pics.
All three shave our chins and do that. Or handlebars.
Here's what we'll do. It'll be like like puzzle pieces. So we'll all three shave different parts of our beards and they interlock.
Oh gosh, I'll have one sideburn. Yeah, you have just the 5 o'clock shadow, and Ashton has one sideburn too.
Yeah. I'll have the goatee, or I mean, we could even make it more intricate than that. Like I could have like half of my left sideburn, and you have the other half. And it never looks full unless you stack 3 photos of us and like put the transparency down like 50%. And then it's a full beard. Like, Beautiful. There's no way we could stand next to each other or anything to, like, no one would get it.
Right,
like,
yeah, exactly.
And that's why it's really cool.
It's too edgy for them.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, though, like, one of us would have, like half, like, a third of a goatee. The other would have the middle part of the goatee. Would have the right third. Like, it'd be, like just a short little, like, Groucho Marx and, like, mirror image Groucho Marx on the chin.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
We could do that and then do like a stop motion. Also, so we're like showing the different growths of the beard. I think there's a lot of different directions we could take the matching creative beard route.
This is great. I think I'm looking forward to this. It's gonna take is convincing my girlfriend to still kiss me after this, or after I choose whichever route I want to go with.
You can kiss when you're dead, man. Come on, it's time to start living.
You know, you're right. You're right.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna go shave parts of my beard right now. I'm feeling so inspired.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. No, I wanna do something for Movember. I'm not sure what.
Me too. I also don't know what. I feel like every time I am growing my beard at any given time, it's no shave November for me.
Yeah.
I'm always just growing it out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I might as well try the fucking mustache.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I can't, like, I'd hate to shave, like, my whole face now. Like, now that my face has gotten so fat, my cheeks are just abnormally bubbly. Huh. And so, like, if I don't have a beard to somewhat cover up the shape of it, it just, like, I look like a circular, like, a circle. Like, my face is just outlined with circles and circles. I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Oh my goodness.
So if I do this, it just
gives you the chisel. That's what I do too.
Yeah.
That's why I cut like the beard like on my neck and stuff, and I shape around my jaw because I don't have much of a jawline.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
you gotta figure one out. You gotta make one.
If you've never seen Ty Turner, he's like Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I'm like the
restaurant Bob's Burgers.
I make food.
He makes food. He always says, "Oh, Linda."
Yeah,
Linda.
Like, the restaurant's always talking in that show. It's so
talking.
Interesting how they have a sentient.
They have a new neighbor every episode.
Do they?
Yeah. Have you never noticed that in the beginning credits? Like,
no.
The building to the right is always like a different pun.
Oh, cool.
It's funny.
Have
you never
pretty
noticed
neat.
That?
No, I really haven't. I do watch it. I've seen so many of them, but I don't really pay attention to the credits. That's my my biggest weakness. Many have said.
Gotcha. Yeah, it is your biggest weakness, I would say. If someone asked me what is Ty Turner's biggest weakness, I would say he doesn't watch the Bob's Burgers intro credits.
Exactly, and that's how I want to be remembered.
Ty Turner was a great guy. He had
the only problem with him. All right, here, let's talk about this. Here's one of the reasons that it's been so long since we've put up a podcast is that we attempted to make a really solid kick-ass movie watch podcast.
Yep.
And here's the thing. That's gone forever. We're incinerating that. We're throwing that into the oven, never to be seen.
I feel like a lot of our Patreon podcasts just go straight down the shredder.
Yeah. The thing with this one is we tried to make it into a drinking game. So we watched a scary movie, and one that we knew would have a lot of faults and we decided, hey, every time this movie sucks, we're gonna take a shot. I blacked out about halfway through the movie.
I don't remember when I blacked out, but I blacked out.
Yeah, we blacked out. Highlights from the night include getting cowboy hats.
Getting cowboy hats from Tyler's mom. And to quote Joanna when she came and picked us up, she said, you guys were doing something called Carl. And when I asked her to elaborate, she said, you had the cowboy hats on, squatted, and kept going, Carl.
She said it involved a lot of squatting and squinting. Carl.
Squatting and squinting.
Which is so true.
So we've been like, the whole time, or not the whole time, but when she came to pick us up, she said that we were just basically imitating Rick from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, we're just that's kind of how the night ended. What's funny is that I came back, so I don't really know the full events of the night, but basically we got really drunk here and tried to commentate on this movie. At some point we decided to stop, and we got cowboy hats. We left. Did we go to Walmart? I think we went to Walmart before Joanna came and got us.
Did we?
Yeah, because I have like little bits and pieces of going to Walmart in my memory. And this is when we were talking about, I don't remember what we went to get. My mom said we left several times that night.
We went outside several times because you were smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure we did go to Walmart, and I don't know what we got.
I don't either. But
that's when we were talking about like politics stuff. But yeah.
I don't remember.
But, okay. I also don't remember going to your house at all.
Oh, yeah.
So Joanna came and got us. Dylan gets in the passenger seat. I also open the passenger door and climb over him to the back seat. It's a 4-door car.
It's a 4-door car. All the doors were unlocked. And he climbs over me. According to Joanna, like very viciously climbs over me into the back seat.
Viciously climbs. I love that. That's awesome. I'm going to turn this bolt down just a little bit.
Oh, no worries. No one wants to hear me.
I've been peeking. We don't even need Dylan on here.
I'm just... This is the Ty Talks to Himself podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you out of this, actually. That's why we're recording on separate... Oh, my God. Okay, guys. I got to clarify something. This might be a very amazing, spooky special with lots of fun rides, content-wise. But we are very much aware that quality-wise, this will be our poorest podcast to date. So we had a little bit of a technical issue. After that drunk podcast, our audio interface stopped working, which might have something to do with the drunken night. And it might not. There's really no way of knowing. So right now we have just sort of had to get creative, and we're recording on some of the worst microphones.
Ty is recording
that
using
exist.
a gramophone.
I'm on a gramophone. Dylan is typing in Morse code.
And I'm using Morse code being translated through one of those Nickelodeon microphones that echoes your voice. So you talk to, like, it was like $5 at Walmart. You know what I'm talking about?
I pretty much have one of those.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just kind of...
Yeah. That's it's just like a hollow plastic tube that you talk into.
Yeah.
And it magnifies
Sounds
your voice just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, I have to tell you this. So after we got drunk, okay, but I'm sorry, I don't know if I finished that thought, but yeah, our quality will be back to normal soon. We're getting new equipment as time goes on, as we can afford it. But
it'll go faster if you send us checks.
Yeah, send us a check in the mail, as Dylan always asks you to do.
We even take savings bonds.
We don't take any
Starting
of that.
now.
Just go check out the Patreon if you do want to help. So after that night, that was on a Thursday, okay? On Friday and Saturday, I was pretty much busy all day, so I wasn't in this room, and it was like a huge mess, and I had kind of picked up a few things, but I didn't like come in here and clean, because, I mean, it was a wreck. Yeah. We had towels on the floor. I think I spilled at least one entire shot onto my desk, and my mouse pad and all of my stuff was sticky, and like the cords underneath my desk were sticky.
Oh, God.
Like, it was bad. But so I come in here on Sunday, and I had picked a few things up, and I had only been in and out a few times. But I noticed that it stinks, like, really bad. And I'm thinking, like, all we had in here was drinks. Like, we didn't spill anything, but it smells like something, almost like something died in here. Like, it was, like, sour, like death, but also sweet. So I'm looking around, and, like, I don't see anything. So I just kind of open up the door, and I'm thinking maybe it's my hamster. Like, maybe it's from whatever the fuck we did in here. We just got it stinky, and it's got to air out. So I work. I ball through it and I work. Monday, Christy comes over here, and this is like I slept all day, so it's like Monday night. She comes over here and she had done some photos for class, and I was like helping her go through them and stuff. Sent those over to her. She left, and I'm like, damn, it really stinks in here. Like it's been like 4 days.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of sitting here again trying to work, and Nani comes in here and she walks over to this corner of the room, which generally she never goes to the corner because she's like really nervous and there's stuff over there and she doesn't want to step through stuff. But she's like hardcore concerned with my bookshelf. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? So I go over there and I'm like, maybe this is the source of the stink because I've smelled this entire room, like trying to see if I can sniff it out. The only way I could describe it is that it was everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it was really bad. Like there was no stronger, like, but I noticed it when I went over there. Like I smelled it. It hit me again.
Yeah.
Like I had gotten used to the smell. I got over there and it hit me really hard. I was like, holy fuck. So I'm sort of looking through my shelf and I don't see anything apparent. Well, I get up to like my second shelf where all my like important Fit to Me papers and like my notebooks and stuff are, and like tucked behind there and underneath some other papers is one of the takeout boxes from when we had gotten Chinese. Like right. With other papers covering it. Like why? like almost full on attempted to be hidden.
That explains, because I came over the next day trying to find my Chinese food. And he said maybe you had the presence of mind to throw it away. And I'm like, I doubt it, but I surprised myself.
Oh my god. So yeah, it was your Chinese food. It was so nasty. I opened it up and like, it had like chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was like 5-day-old fucking chicken Chinese food in my little closed office. And so I open it up, and when chicken, like, it's sit out for a while and it just looks hard. Like, you can just tell that it's rock hard just by looking at it. That's what she said. And it looked like that, and it had, like, rice and stuff and vegetables. But it was, like, in whatever kind of sauce it was had just turned completely liquid. And so it was in, like, an inch deep of just, like, weird, like, brown water. And I opened it up, and I was like, oh my god. Luckily the next day was Tuesday. Like that was late Monday night, and Tuesday's when our trash comes, so I just put it straight in the thing and I took this stuff out there. I'm like, this can't stay in my home.
No. Do like an exorcist. That's hilarious. I
had someone come in here and sage the room and the priest, demons of Chinese food, get out.
Get out.
Get out of this man.
I found that clip. I totally forgot about that clip that we filmed for Daryl too. Whenever I was editing those clips, I found that one again. I'm like,
oh, with Ashton, yeah.
He was just laying there, just.
He was like making the most sexual sounds. Which he really committed to that role.
Yeah.
Like that was some good acting.
He did a good job for to be
exercised or something along those lines.
Exercise jumping jacks.
Yeah, I had that in my notes as stink story because I wanted to remember to tell you that. So,
do you need me to tell you a stink story now?
If you have one on deck, I guess so.
Most
but if you're about to just fart, no, that would.
Most just stories about farts.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'll pass. I would
pass gas.
Pass gas. That's fucking comedy gold.
Comedy gold. Laugh it up.
Laugh it up. So, the Streamies happened. Do you know what the Streamies are?
No.
They're like the award show for internet people. So it's like...
I thought that was VidCon.
No. So close. Very close. Oh my god, it's like talking to your parents. Okay. Yeah, this... Okay. I thought that was YouTube.
Isn't that what you do for a living, bud?
So, it's what was it? Oh, the Streamies are they're an award show. So it's like creator of the year and like ensemble vlog and stuff. It's online creator specific awards, and that's pretty cool. So those just happened, and despite the fact that that's been a few days, I actually just got a call from the Streamies while we were recording, and they said they would like to retroactively award us with a Streamy for the lowest quality podcast in 2018.
No way.
Not even in a mean way. They were impressed by how low the quality of this episode is.
That's awesome.
So thank you, Streamies. Yeah, we got a Streamy.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting for it in the mail, in the
Yeah.
P.O. box, along with a check.
What if it's the lowest quality Streamy they have? It's one with just someone else's name misprinted on it.
It's 2 pixels.
Yeah, 2 pixels.
I just got this square.
More JPEG.
God.
That's funny. That's awesome. Well, congratulations to us.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone better be clapping.
We couldn't have done this without
The
you.
whole classroom clapped.
Yeah, and then my teacher said you got honors. You just graduated with honors.
Albert Einstein.
And that teacher was Albert Einstein. I'm gonna get your. Sorry, I gotta adjust
No, it's
some
okay.
levels real quick.
Let me just tell the story. This one time.
Okay. So
Okay.
let's talk about the good story, Dylan. And back to you. I wanted to talk a little bit about the origins of Halloween because I think a lot of our listeners might be extremely confused by the 2 very differing ways that we have chosen to celebrate the holiday. Mostly you doing Hanukkah and me doing satanic rituals. So we'll go ahead and just.
Wait, are those different? I thought we both have candles.
Well,
We both have Halloween.
difference, I think a lot of the differences is like what you can and can't eat and like what days you do and don't do certain things.
Oh, see, I can't eat milk because I'm lactose
See,
intolerant.
neither can I.
Ah,
So maybe it is.
maybe that's the same thing.
Maybe we're all just people.
Maybe we're all just closer than we expected.
Maybe we're all a lot more alike than we thought.
This sounds
Wow.
like we should start singing a song.
I think so.
Bum, bum,
Jum.
bum, bum, bum,
Jum.
bum, bum, bum,
Jum.
bum, bum, bum,
Jum.
bum, 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 bum,
Jum.
bum, bum, bum,
Jum.
bum, bum, bum,
Jum.
bum, bum,
Okay,
bum,
and that concludes Halloween origins.
Halloween origins.
Halloween origins.
Ooh, ha, ha.
Okay. Is that the black cat?
That's whatever you.
It could be anything.
It's like the Rorschach
for-
test of audio.
What do you hear?
What do you hear?
Yanny. Oh, sorry. The answer was Laurel.
Oh. Coral.
Coral.
Laurel.
Laurel. Laurel.
Laurel.
So here's what I think about the origins of Halloween.
X-Men
I have a few notes here. The first note is made by Illuminati.
Ah, agreed.
It's the only night of the year when the Illuminati is in their true form, and that is giant lizard people.
Dementors.
Dementors and lizards. Depends on
Oh,
which
like.
ones you're looking at. Yeah, there's all sorts of Illuminati members.
Uh-huh.
Half of them, roughly half of them are Dementors. What was the worst part about prison?
the Dementors just flying around, suck your soul out. You mean Dementors like from Harry Potter? No, not like Harry Potter.
God, I love that shit. Oh, you know what I'm doing right now?
What?
I've started rewatching The Office, like when I go to sleep, like I usually do. But I'm doing this thing now where instead of watching it like sequentially by like the last episode I was on or whatever, like I'm not watching the whole thing through. I'm starting every night from where I left off the previous night. So like I'll fall asleep like 30 minutes into an episode, and then Netflix doesn't shut off for like 4 episodes. So I'm on like season 4 right now, and it's been like a week.
Oh yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
I'm just like burning through these episodes, and so I wake up and I'm like, oh, they're already married. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to bed, and
no spoilers.
someone gets married in The
Someone gets
Office. You
They
heard
do
it.
that
Spoilers
thing?
here.
What?
Oh yeah,
They sell paper?
they do.
Oh, was that too much of a
Paper
spoiler?
quantities and
Sorry.
qualities.
How we can get to them.
I'm boring myself just talking about
I'm
this.
boring myself talking on this
Let's
podcast.
talk about-
Let's just quit.
No. No. Wait, back it up, reel it up. So, Halloween, the Illuminati shows their true form, and they create, what we know it today is Halloween. It's evolved from a lot of things. Some people say, Samhain, Harvest Festival, Day of the Dead. It's a lot of different shit going on. What it really is a giant facade. The Illuminati wants us all to dress up First of all, so that they can walk freely without suspicion in their lizard forms or in their Dementor forms. And we'd all say, that Dementor costume is fucking kicking ass.
Do you think the word facade is also a facade? They're trying to hide that it's actually pronounced facade.
Wow. It could be. That's interesting.
It's such a facade. Facade.
Or it's a facade.
It's a facade. That's what the Illuminati doesn't want you to know.
They don't want you to go to the facades.
They don't want you to go to the facades.
So that's what that's kind of where it came from. But here's the thing. The reason that we can see the Illuminati and stuff, none of their spells, none of their trickery, none of their technology works on Halloween.
It's like the Purge.
It's just like the Purge. Which is why it's the perfect time for us to fight back. And they don't want us to know that.
Or the perfect time.
It's the perfect time to engage in some... Right, Dylan?
Right.
Like,
I think...
they're weak. They're at their weakest on Halloween. And they're trying to distract us with candy and, you know, all this holiday shit. And it's like, let's get back to the true reason of the season, and that's getting souls down to the devil.
The true meaning of Christmas. Right.
Right.
And so, I think you're right. I think it stems a lot from, like, it's obviously a government conspiracy. If they get everyone to dress up, they can obviously hide their rituals they are doing to enhance their magic for one more year. It's a yearly magic routine, and it's like, it's. I mean, do you see?
And the thing is, it's also a year-long magic routine because the Illuminati has in-house magicians that they specifically have to every single day do as much magic as they can to try to keep the Illuminati secrets.
That's why you don't see David Blaine a whole lot anymore.
Right.
He's busy
He's
with
in
the
a
Illuminati.
room and he's waving a magic wand around and he's thinking real hard.
or there's Chris Angel. You know, what's he been up to? I don't think he has a show in Las Vegas anymore.
No,
he's just hanging by fishhooks in the Illuminati headquarters.
He's underneath the White House.
Yeah.
He's hanging under there and the secret
under there,
base.
And he's like, I'm gonna do another magic trick. I'm gonna freeze myself inside of an iceberg. Oh, cool.
He's like, I'm gonna drink a bunch of something toxic and then throw it up. That's magic. Is that magic now? Yeah. That's interesting.
I'm gonna drink this bleach, a whole bottle of bleach.
I love it because nobody ever knows how to react because they're always like, to the ones where he like drinks something and throws, like he's like, I'm gonna eat the animal alive and then throw it up and it's still gonna be alive somehow. Okay, interesting. That's not magic. That's just you're swallowing something and then spitting it up. Yeah. And people are always kind of like, is this the trick?
Yeah.
Like, he was on one of those late night talk shows, and he did this thing where he drank a bunch of lighter fluid and threw it up in a trash can and then set the trash can on fire.
Oh, cool.
And, like, he was like, I don't know what. I think it was like Jimmy Fallon or something.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of like, you know, doing his best to be impressed, but you could tell like he is so quizzical looking. He's like, okay, and then he gets excited. He's like, okay, it's over now, so obviously we should be clapping. But it's like for a long time, he had no earthly clue how to react to what was happening.
Have I shown you that it's like a montage, like one of those YouTube montages, or like kind of like YouTube poop, pretty much, of David Blaine on Jimmy Fallon? No, and.
Is it from that episode?
No. Oh. I don't think so. It's like David Blaine does this card trick, and the guy edits out just the parts like where it's actually the magic trick. Like he says, "All right," like he doesn't have him pick a card or anything. He's like, "All right, count with me," and then just counts cards, and then holds up a card, and then Jimmy Fallon starts like cracking up, and then all of a sudden he goes, "Wait a second," and pulls out like a glass, and just spits a frog into.
Count with me. Wait a second.
It's the frog and then drinks it back. And Jimmy Fallon's just over there like dying laughing.
I feel laughing at that too.
I'm gonna have to show it to you sometime. I'll send it in the group message while we discuss Hallows Eve.
We should have a podcast Discord.
Oh yeah. If you are interested in that, donate $25.
Or we might just put it in the description. We can make one. We'll make a public thing, and then we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That chili smells so strong, and it keeps catching me off guard.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Okay, so Hallows Eve, the Eve of Hallows, the Deathly Hallows, the Mentors.
Wow.
The end.
Are these your Is that your Halloween origins?
Those are my Halloween origins. I
that.
believe that it is J.K. Rowling's doing. She wanted to sell costumes for Harry Potter.
Mm.
And she just wanted to say, hey.
Hey, let's have a whole holiday about it.
What
We'll
a
incorporate
wonderful time of day.
where we learn to
Walk
work
and
and
play.
play and get along with each other.
You know, I used to
what
always-
show is that?
Arthur.
Oh, okay.
I used to always think that, like, I never knew what they were saying, get along with each other.
Mhm.
The way they said it always made it sound like, get along with Beach Arthur. I was like, who's
I haven't
Beach
seen
Arthur?
that episode yet. I want to see the Beach Arthur episode. I feel like I could really get along with that.
Superhero Arthur, Beach Arthur. It's like all the different Barbies, but Arthur dolls.
They're different collectibles. That'd be me. I'm Beach Tyler.
Trailer Park Arthur.
Oh my gosh.
They are totally missing out on that market.
Yeah, they could do like a deadbeat Arthur, and he's
Deadbeat
like
Arthur.
wearing what I'm wearing right now, is sweatpants.
Or
and
the deadbeat
stained
Arthur
white
where he's
shirt.
wearing like a dead mouse head and has
Oh.
DJ equipment.
DG,
DG.
DJD.
DJ
L.
Arthur.
Yeah, there's there's
DW.
there's so much that they could be doing with that.
Yeah. I wonder what the lore on Arthur is.
Probably not as interesting as the lore on Halloween.
You know what? We're gonna shift tracks. We're going into
Cancel the Halloween episode.
yeah,
Let's get into the lore of Arthur.
Arthur Origins Part 1.
I am actually interested in that. That could be an episode.
I think we need to read the books.
Because the fuck. They're those books in like kindergarten that are like cardboard pages. It's like 4 pieces of cardboard put together. Like, yeah, I just read a book.
Yeah,
No big deal.
they made it out of Aldi boxes.
God damn.
Okay. Next
Back-
season on the
back-
podcast, it's all Arthur themed.
Yeah, so that's another thing is we're kind of we did this big break, and we're doing this Halloween special, but we're kind of wrapping up season 1 of the podcast, and we're gonna take probably a couple months off and hit it hard at the beginning of 2019 and try to restructure some
Like
things.
right at the
and
beginning on midnight January 1st.
Come on out. We're gonna do a big New Year's blowout on
Yeah,
the
come to
podcast.
Ty's house. His address is Arkansas.
That's right. I just moved there. It's the one with the longest. I actually have the longest address in the whole state, which is so interesting.
Well, I wanted to make sure that they would get it, so I articulated each and every number and each and every letter of the address. So
yeah.
it's actually
No.
No.
We're not gonna redacted. So
It's P.O. Box.
I thought for the next segment of the Halloween episode that we're doing. Oh wait, I didn't finish what I was thinking. Sorry. We're gonna have a season 2. It's gonna be really fucking cool. All right.
dope. Cool
Horror
in the fortnight.
stories.
Horror stories.
Horror stories. That's what I want to talk about. Do you have any own personal? It doesn't have to be like supernatural, but it can be.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like just the scariest thing that's happened to you, or something supernatural, or you can tell all of them.
It's a little supernatural.
Okay. I'm not, I'm not supernatural, but I'm a little natural.
I use that like so I mean everyone knows I work at the casino, right? So I like I'm dealing cards and people like people go on like a really bad luck streak and they'll lose a lot and they'll be like, that's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. Like they're like, that has to be rigged or something. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious, and they just look at me like I'm stupid. like even if it wasn't an office quote,
That's
still a
funny fucking
line.
thing for anyone to say.
I'm not a superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
I'm a little stitious.
One guy the other day, like I said that, and like I don't know if he was being sarcastic because he didn't really laugh at anything else I had to say, but he goes, like he just kind of chuckled and he goes, do a lot of people laugh from that? I said a lot of people don't get it.
Nice.
But so it's a little supernatural. Basically, it's more of a horror story.
I love that.
I was at my grandparents' house, walked into the bathroom while my grandpa was showering, and his
God.
penis was huge. Like, it was supernaturally big.
Okay.
Wow. It
Wow.
was ginormous.
That's
It
such a
was-
different route than I would have
So
ever
I
expected
left
this segment to
and
take.
I went and sat on the couch.
I can imagine you did.
Yep.
Is that a true story?
Nope.
Thank God, because I didn't want to have to unpack that. Whew. Someone else's job, not mine.
I don't get paid enough for this.
That is a story. Well,
yeah.
okay.
I think
Any other experiences you want to share?
the closest thing that I've ever come to a supernatural experience, and I don't think it's necessarily. I mean, it wasn't supernatural but like whenever it was just weird. Whenever I like moved into my house for the first time,
Oh my
and we
god,
went
your
upstairs,
house is fucking scary as shit. Are you kidding me?
It's so scary, and it's like the scariest part about it is like it was easier whenever I lived
doors.
alone. Huh?
The little doors.
Yes.
Those are what scare
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Because why? Okay, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
Whenever
I
you
was-
lived alone.
the thing of it that scares me the most is like, I mean, it was easier whenever I lived there by myself, and if someone broke in or if something happened, like I was the only one that said. But now that like I have to be responsible for another person, like if something bad happens or if we get broken into, I'm like the front line of defense.
You have to be, yeah.
Right, and I'm like, I don't want to go out and check. Like I heard like a bag fall yesterday or something. It was like a Walmart sack fall off a shelf, and I was like, maybe if I just stay in bed, I'll hear footsteps if someone's really here.
Oh my god.
I was like, but
See, I'm the opposite. Like I know that a lot of people joke about, oh, I'm that person that would die first. I'm literally the person that would die first. I'll hear something outside, and I'll be fucking barefoot in like my sleeping clothes, and I'll just like in pajamas is
In
what they
sleep-
call those.
it will be barefoot in my sleeping clothes.
I'm wearing those shoes in my sleeping clothes. I'm walking outside in my sleeping clothes.
my sleeping clothes.
So yeah, I'll go out there and like it'll be the middle of the night. The other night, Nani like was doing that really creepy thing dogs do whenever they
Barking?
want to bark. Yeah, it's like that, but it's really small. They're like they know something's out there, but they're not sure what, and they'll be like, boo, boo.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like this very small like bark under their breath.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to figure out whether to bark or not. She was doing that, and I was like, oh, okay, fuck this, because she never does that. So, and I heard some bangs, and sounded really close to my house. So it sounded like someone was maybe shutting their door in our driveway or something. And I just went out there. I just like turned on the light and full on walked around the house. The neighbors were moving in the middle of the night. They were loading stuff into their truck, like big stuff.
Was it like
There was either a B&E happening next door, or the neighbors were moving,
a B&E?
breaking and entering,
Ah.
and also stealing.
I thought it was like a sex term or something.
Ooh,
like
they were having a B&E.
a bondage and
ecstasy.
ecstasy. Bondage. Oh, that sounds. I don't know how that sounds, honestly. Being like tied
Depends.
down and giving a dose of ecstasy.
Yeah, I mean,
Doing
you'd
one
be like
ecstasy.
one ecstasy, two ecstasy,
ecstasy.
something healthy, a little
Something healthy. One
bondage.
half.
So yeah, I walked like right over to where the noise was happening, and then I saw them, and I was like, oh, okay, and I went back inside.
Mhm.
If that had been someone who was like a spooky serial killer, they could have just come right around the car and
Even
stabbed
just a
me.
regular serial killer. Not
Yeah, it
necessarily
could have been
spooky.
any kind of serial killer, and they would have been able to kill me,
Right.
with or without cereal.
Yeah, and see, that's like a lot of times, like I grew up. My dad was very like on edge when it came to like noises outside the house. Like he'd always sit in the chair that was right next to one of the front windows. So if he ever heard like gravel popping in our driveway or like a door shut outside the front of our house, he'd just be like pull the blinds down and look out. And like there was once where it was like the middle of the night and he heard like gravel popping in our driveway, and it was someone like pulling in and turning around. He went and grabbed a shotgun and like stood by the door
Oh
and
my
like
God.
he just kind of was peeking, like thinking that someone was gonna like. I think this was like a couple days
Have
after.
you never had a visitor? I can't imagine.
This is like at like 10 o'clock at night, and I think like the night or two before we'd had something stolen off our front porch.
Oh shit!
So I mean he had a little
Okay,
bit of a
there
reason.
you go.
But like it
in
was-
context, I mean, it's still very much an overreaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess.
Especially for living 1 block away from downtown.
Yeah, you had so many like neighbors, like so many people go through that area.
Like-
It's kind of funny that he would be so worried. About.
Yeah, he was so on edge.
I remember I came over to your house one time when they were staying with you after they sold their place, and he thought I had been tailing him, and and I was like, hey, and he like him and your mom both rushed in the house.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, sorry guys. Like I was like, Damn, I don't know what I did, but
It's
all
like
right.
Patrick from the episode of SpongeBob where his breath smells bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I'm
Hi.
ugly and I'm proud.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He told me about it. He's like, once he saw it was me. He
Yeah.
was like, someone was really like riding our ass. Well, he didn't use those terms,
Yeah.
but on the highway, someone was, I guess, tailing him pretty close, and then I pulled in right after them up to your house, and it was just bad timing. He thought someone had followed them home, which would be fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, it's been a while since I've seen him. So.
Yeah. Well, there've been instances. I mean, I know we're not necessarily talking about supernatural, but like there have been instances where like I'll be driving, even just driving to Walmart, like the 5-minute drive it takes to get to Walmart, and then driving back, and I'll feel like someone's following me, and I'll like I'll even take like a wrong turn, so that way I can see if they're following me, and like sometimes they'll turn that way, and I'll drive like an extra like mile around my house, so that way like I can see if they're really tailing me or not.
Damn.
Like
They're probably just going to a destination, and like you just happen to be guessing all the right turns. Like for you, it's the wrong turn, but they were always gonna go that way.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like the best at it. Like the other day, me and Joanna got lost while house hunting, and we
Did you catch any? Did you shoot any?
yeah we caught one. It was a 12-point.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
How many bats?
Huh?
How many bats?
It was about 7.
God damn.
7 bats.
Wow.
Oh, 7 baths. Baths.
Not
Oh,
bathrooms.
I thought you said bats. Like
Oh.
like baseball bats. I was trying to find the correlation, but in my mind it kind of made sense.
I don't know how to measure.
Yeah. No.
Seven.
Like how many bats?
Roughly 7.
It was about
I got
7
this-
long,
Oh,
give or
dude,
take.
we were looking at this house. 8.5 bats at least.
8.5 that's a lot of bathrooms. No. That's how long it was.
That's how
It was
long
8.5 bats.
long.
Like little animal. No, like Louisville Sluggers.
Oh my god. But yeah, you get tailed sometimes.
Yeah, well, there was once we like went out, and it was kind of out in the country, and we were like, okay, well, we'll just turn off here because there was a car following us, and we needed to turn around, and so we just like turned down this like we were on the main road and then turned off onto this dirt road, just hoping to kind of just loop around, and this truck with a trailer behind us turned down the same road. I'm like, fuck. Okay, so we just kept driving. I'm like, okay, well, here is another street that we can turn on to this. Followed us down that street. Like, okay, let's just turn down a driveway. Turn down a driveway, and that was the same exact driveway that they were going down, because they were, I don't know what they must have thought that we were fucking, like, following them. So I just kind of, like, turn it, and I'm like, nope, and turn back out and go around, because I saw their blinker. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's wild.
It was crazy.
You just guessed them all right, and they're probably like, "Who the fuck are these people going to my fucking house?"
Yep. Yeah, driving down a dirt road in Malibu.
Yeah, way out there.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyway, so Ty, tell us about some of your. I don't really have a whole lot of supernatural.
I would love to get back to your house. We'll get back to that here in a second.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I will add a little bit of my personal experience in here.
Perfect.
Let me get a drink first. Sorry.
Okay. This drink is sponsored by Altoids.
It's weird because you'd think they'd sponsor us because we have so many mints. None of our mints are Altoids, but they do sponsor our drinks, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Personal. Okay, here it is.
Okay.
I think that, man, I've just had so much creepy shit happen to me, but also like, I think I kind of get creeped out easily.
Yeah. Well, tell us the most
I'm a
recent.
little stitious.
Yeah.
But I'm not superstitious.
Mhm.
Most recently, did I tell you about the speakers in here?
No.
Okay, so this is something that has happened. I've had this computer and this whole setup with the same monitor, same speakers, all the same shit, since I was like a junior in high school. So it's been several years.
A little junior.
Like five or 6 years. I was just a little junior guy. I've had the whole shebang for a while.
Yeah.
And it's always about the same shit, but when I live with my grandparents who have just like your house, like I get the same feeling when I walk in there, just like generally creeped out. Maybe it's just because they're both old houses and stuff.
Yeah.
But my grandparents' house is so fucking weird. I could do an entire podcast about all the weird shit that's happened there. But I lived with them when I was a senior in high school briefly while I was getting into my apartment. And my speakers would do this thing. I was in like the far back bedroom. which was always fucking cold
Yeah.
and creepy, my speakers would just go wub 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 and get weird feedback at random times. My computer could be off and my speakers, or not shut down, but like
Screensaver.
yeah, screensaver, but more than that, like asleep, where it's you have to like wake it up and
But,
like
hey,
type in
computer.
your, hey, get up, come on,
Yeah.
it's morning time. But like, you know, where I'd still have to type in my password and shit. Like it'd be everything but shut down, because
Yeah.
that's how I usually do it, is just like hibernate. And it would still get feedback through the speakers, and it would always sound like whoop, 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 like that.
Like Skrillex.
Skrillex as fuck, random times during the night. I would
You'd
wake
just be
up
like,
to
I'm
it
gonna
doing
send
that.
Ty this song.
He's like, check this out. Wait till the bass drops. So, it random ass times in the night, and I it didn't scare me unless it was like the middle of the night and I'd be woken up by my speakers just going blah 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 blah, because that's freaky in that
Yeah.
time. But other times I was like, I don't really give a shit. It's probably some sort of weird feedback, you know, if I have my cell phone or something. Maybe it's something like that.
Yeah.
But I moved away from there and into my apartment, and they haven't done it since. Until about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting in here on my computer, and they just started whoop, 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 like that same kind of feedback. I got the chills, like the most chills I've ever gotten in my life. It's like all over my whole body, cold, and like my hair's all standing up, and I left.
Oh my god.
I was like, no, fuck it. Fuck all that.
Well, that reminds me. I did have like one weird supernatural thing. Like whenever we first moved back into my house in Siloam, it's like one of the first nights we were staying there, and like Joanna and I, when we fall asleep, we leave the TV on. Like we just fall asleep to the TV on just because we need noise. Well, she like kicked me awake in the middle of the night. Or it wasn't even in the middle of the night. Like I had just fallen asleep. And I go, what on earth? And she goes, did you not just hear that? And I said, no. She's like, because like, I guess she had gotten up to, like, she was sitting up in bed. Like she hadn't fallen asleep yet. Sitting up in bed, watching TV. And she said all of a sudden, like, there was like this demonic voice coming through the TV. And like she's like, it sounded like it was Satan. Like,
Damn.
and she's like, she got up to turn off the TV and it like didn't stop, and then she kicked me awake. I'm like,
Was she having sleep paralysis?
no, like she like
Was the TV on when you woke up?
no, like she had
Oh, she turned it off and then
she turned it
woke
off
you
and then
up.
woke me up,
Okay.
like thinking that it was just something up with Netflix or something.
God.
And I was like,
That'd be so fucked up if they just pulled that every once in a while, like, because you know everyone falls asleep with fucking Netflix play. If they just had something play every now and then just to freak the fuck out of their
Oh,
users,
God.
but not tell anyone about it.
yeah.
Screw
Well, that's
that.
like I woke up and I'm like, oh well, this is how I die. I don't even know what happens, and like,
You know what it is? It's all those fucking war people that were hidden in your walls,
yep.
and now they're mad.
Now the war people are mad. Is that what they call them nowadays?
War people, yep.
War people.
Well, they're not soldiers. I
Yes.
think they were people who were hidden
Hidden.
because of a war.
Because of
Probably
the war.
the Civil War is what I would guess.
The Civil War.
Your house was probably involved in like the Underground Railroad. Real talk. Because think about those little fucking rooms and all that weird shit.
I'm sure the timelines match up on some.
Some of it, Michael. Come on.
Yeah.
I have more scary stories.
Ooh, tell 'em.
One.
I have more Gary stories.
Man, my grandpa's named Gary. I have
Oh,
plenty of Gary
I'll tell you,
stories.
Gary Turner.
Gary Turner. I have plenty of Gary Turner stories.
He's an old firefighter, isn't
Yes.
he? Oh.
It's not polite to call him old. He's
He's a former firefighter.
there.
ain't
You go. No, I'm just kidding.
he?
Man, I was thinking of something that was like scary. Oh, okay, here it is. It's not supernatural. It's just kind of freaky.
Mhm.
I was at the park.
It's just regularly natural.
This is just a little natural. I was at the park and there was a car sitting out front. It was like 2 a.m. and I was just like swinging and fucking around.
As you do at the park.
Christy was with me. Yeah, I think this was like in the summer, so it was like nice out. We were like, let's just go to the park. Let's go for a walk. Let's see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of hung out there for a minute, and then we were heading home. And as we walked by this car that was sitting in the parking lot, you know, the windows were tinted, so we couldn't really see into it very well. And as we were walking up to it, I was like, I think there's someone in that car. And I kind of looked only long enough to like see that there was a person in there, and then I obviously didn't want to stare.
Yeah.
I just wanted to walk past it and go home because like
Yeah.
it's 2 a.m. This
Yeah.
person's parked at a park.
Uh-huh.
they must have the wrong idea of what park means. They thought it was so we're going.
It's just not the parking lot. No, it's just the park.
All right, I'll park.
Is that not what you do?
And we walk by, and as we're walking by, the window is cracked a little, and the guy inside says, "Hey, you guys want some Laffy?" And I go, "No, thank you." I don't even look. I just go, "No, thank you." And we just keep walking, and we're almost out of the parking lot, which isn't a big parking lot. Like, it's only one row of parking spaces, just right in front of the park.
Yeah.
And like we're about to be on the road. Like, we have like the grass gap between the road and other stuff.
Yeah.
And we're about to walk onto that, and we hear the guy getting out of his car, and he goes, "You better run." And dude, I swear to God, because here's the thing: as we were walking away, my thought process is, why would this person offer us to buy drugs to someone he doesn't even know and then just let us walk away?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, of course, here it is. And he says, "You better run." So I'm thinking, like, this guy wants to fucking chase us. Like, this is like a insane person. Like, if he was gonna, he doesn't want us to die, because then he'd just shoot us. He probably has, like, I'm like, he has a knife. But he has a knife, because this, like, crazy people have fucking knives.
Yeah.
They just want to fuck with you with knives.
Yeah.
So I'm, like, thinking of all the different ways I can disarm, like, as I'm turning around. Because I kind of stopped there and debated whether to turn around or whether to just ignore him. And, like, Christy turns around, and I'm thinking, like, okay, if he's coming towards me, like, I know how to block a knife. I know how to, you know, move this way, get the wrist, knock it out of their hand, whatever the fuck.
Break the wrist, walk away.
Break the wrist, walk away, take the knife, stab myself, and say, "You suck at this. I do your job better than you do."
Right.
And so I'm like, it was so weird. Like, I was picturing this all in my head as it was happening. And I turn around, and I see that it's my friend Nikong. And I was like, oh my God. Like, he made his voice sound weird. And, like, it sounded nothing like him. He had a different car than, like, when I had seen him last. He had gotten a new car. So I had no idea. And we were both like, oh, my God. Like, it was such an adrenaline rush. I was like, first of all, fuck you. But also, like, thank you for, like, this genuine moment of fear. Like, I appreciate my life a little bit more right now. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys want some Laffy Taffy?" And I'm like, fuck you. He legitimately had Laffy Taffy.
That's funny.
But that's probably one of the, like, more scary moments in my life, when I thought I was being fucking jumped by some crazy ass drug dealer.
Yeah.
It's a little natural.
Yeah. I've had a very natural, scary experience like that. Like, on a bus in Chicago, some hustler lady got on the bus, and this guy, like, basically we took the wrong bus from the United Center, because we went to watch the circus. It was like my mom, who was pregnant. With my,
and she was in the circus.
What was she performing as? She was on the stilts and did, like, the cool acrobatic tricks.
Listeners, what you can't see is that I just spilled water all over myself when he said that. All right. Well,
so she got done with her show. It was a good show.
And you're on the bus.
And we were on the bus, and I was 14. My friend Scott was 14.
How old was the bus?
The bus was about 25 years old. It was a Model 3.
A Tesla bus. That's very cool.
Tesla bus, self-driving. So we got on the wrong bus. Basically, there was a bus that went, like, from the United Center to our hotel, and we got on the bus that went the other way.
Oh no!
Like, it was the same.
Yeah, the same
color
stop,
bus,
but on other sides of the road.
Yeah, it was like the orange line or something. And we got on the orange line, but it went the other way. So we went all the way around. So basically, like, my mom was like, this was around Thanksgiving. So she was about 8 months pregnant with my second youngest brother, and so she was a little worried. And this guy, he was super nice. He was sitting behind my mom, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm from here, are you?" And they go, "No." And so he starts talking to them, and like just kind of making them, like, feel a little more comfortable, because we were driving through a kind of sketchy part of Chicago, and all of it. Yeah, we were driving through Chicago, and it was sketchy.
Yikes.
We stopped at this one bus stop, and this lady gets on, and she was trying to hustle, and she had like her daughter and her daughter's child or something, and, like,
when you say hustle,
like, she got on the bus,
she's, like, betting people at stuff that she knows she's good at. She's like, "Hey, I bet you I can't snap my fingers.
She was just trying to race everyone. She's like, I can race you to the back of the bus and just hustle.
And she pretends to be really slow.
Right. She just
and
hustles.
then she's actually, and then she gets her head in the game and she hustles.
Yeah. No, she it basically was like the equivalent of like those people who stand out by Walmart with the signs on like, or by the interstates ask for money with their stories. Except she came onto the bus and told people the story, and then kind of like the Silver Dollar City train where she just walked around with a hat and just asked for money.
I gotcha.
Basically, like trying to get you to trying to hurry you up and be like, hey, can you give me any money? Any money will do. Yeah. And like trying
like
to
an auctioneer.
Kind of, yeah. She's like, hey, about
it. Hey, about it. Can I get a $1 in the hat, please? Can I get a $2?
$1 in the hat, $1. Come on, here we go.
And it's your stop. I'm not gonna move to you, but $1 in the hat. Can I take one? Okay, the bet is up to $2 now. $2. $2. And the bus is moving.
We got five over here.
Okay, I got you. So she was like making her way towards you.
Yeah. Well, this guy who was being super nice to my mom and my friend Scott's mom. He just like a switch turns, and he just like starts cussing this lady out, saying, "Go get a job," like full on shouting at her. She starts shouting back. She starts like kind of like bowing up to this guy, and she's like, I mean, like she doesn't look all there, like, and so it was like my mom said that she was like, they're just like, we're gonna get killed on this bus, and no one's gonna know where we are. And like my friend Scott and I, we were very negligent because we were ninth graders. We had our wallets out. We're counting like all of our money that we like all of our spending money that we had for the whole trip, all the tips my mom had earned from the stilts, and so we were just like, we heard that happening, and then we like, it took everything for us not to laugh. Like my mom like stared at us for us not to laugh, and we were sitting there just like,
oh my gosh.
But now looking back, and I'm like,
that was actually horrifying.
It was horrifying.
Actually scary. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's hard. Like I lived in Honolulu, and the homeless population is so high over there, and there's like such a high addiction rate.
Mm-hmm. I bet, because there's a lot of porn that comes from over there.
Well, mostly like drugs, like hard drugs and stuff. And so since it's an island, it's like people can't really get away. And it's all the same people that they know, and so like it's really hard for people over there, like the homeless stuff, and the cost of living is so high.
Yeah.
And like people come in, from the mainland with certain, I don't know. It's mostly, it sucks for the locals is the thing.
I get that.
So I had never, a small town in Arkansas. Before moving over there, I had never seen anyone like homeless on the street or had anyone ask me for money or anything like that. So it was a huge shock for me moving over there, and they have like tents on the beaches everywhere, and like not in a cool way. Like it's really sad. Like the city's like pretty fucking shitty about how they treat homeless people. It's like it's really fucked up.
Yeah.
But a lot of like, people in those groups and stuff are addicts and stuff who can't like get help or anything.
And a lot you'll used see for storage.
Addicts.
Yeah.
You pull the stairs down and there it is. But yeah, you'll see people who are like clearly just so fucked up and like fried from years and years of drugs. And it is actually scary to be around people like that because it's very unpredictable. Like they'll just start screaming or like, I've seen there were people literally on like Waikiki, the main strip, right there in the grass by the fucking street having sex, dick out, like just doing it. And I'm like, oh my God, like I was not expecting any of that.
Yeah.
So there are so many times where you're like, I have no idea how this person's going to act because they'll be strung out on drugs just doing anything.
Yep.
There was this one woman that used to stand down by my mom's work, and she would take trash bags full of clothes and scream at traffic as it went by. She'd stand in an intersection and throw the clothes out onto the passing cars. It's one of those things where it's like funny to think about. But like, if I was around that, I'd be like, holy shit, like this person's gonna choke me out.
Well, that's like that same trip to Chicago, we were
by the way, when I said all of Chicago was sketchy, I was just kidding, guys. Chicago is beautiful, and I'd love to come visit sometime.
Yeah, sure.
That Big Bean.
No, the Big Bean
sounds cool.
I love the beans. No,
scene. I'm sorry.
Anyways, like so we went there originally because our marching band was in their Thanksgiving parade in Chicago, and so we were like going back to our hotel from the end of the parade, And I didn't see it, but I guess there was this homeless lady on a bridge, and she was like sitting there, and like no one really understood what she was saying because she like I guess she was missing like a lot of teeth, and then all of a sudden she just like pulled her tits out.
Oh
and
shit!
Like everyone was talking about that, and I was like okay, but like I mean. It's just one of those things like, okay, you can't be in your right mind to do that, and there's with a bunch of high school kids, there's no telling what could have happened. Like,
yeah, that's scary shit. Yeah. I mean, and a lot of it too, like, there are a lot of people who are like just strung out on drugs and stuff, and on the street because like they can't like afford that life and like live a normal life and be addicted to a drug. Ever tried it? It's not possible.
No.
Or I mean, like, when you get to that extent,
live
like,
a normal life and be addicted to porn, can't do it. Like, I struggle with addiction every day.
Yeah, that's good to admit that.
Porn. I mean, you got to go in, you got to pay your monthly subscription to Pornhub Premium
websites.
To smallguysbigchicks.com.
Huh. Okay, well,
I should mind. I want to be a small guy.
Oh. Well,
basically they're like pencil size, like 3 inches tall.
Huh.
And the chicks are just normal sized chicks, and it's just hot.
That's really interesting. You wouldn't think there could be a lot done with that kind of pair up, but
there can be.
I'm sure, knowing the internet, I'm sure there's a lot of creative ways that they've figured things out. Yeah. But yeah, so like there is a lot of like people who suffer from not just addiction, but like literal mental illnesses and stuff, who are put out on the street just because they also can't work, and like if they can't get the proper help or whatever, then they don't have like family members or someone to look out for them and make sure that the system doesn't just shit them out. Like it's a lot of it's not just people who like have made poor decisions or whatever. Like there's a lot of people who have just had like a shitty hand dealt to them.
Yeah, no joke. I mean,
so I always like, whenever I do see people like, asking for money or whatever, I try to really consider if it's someone who needs, I don't know. That's a weird conversation to have. We're trying to get spooky.
Yeah,
that's like a real spooky because it's like a fear that is very real.
Fear of the eel.
Fear of the Eel, Spookcast 2018.
Yeah, that's the title of this podcast.
Here's what I think we should do. Fear the Eel.
Fear the Eel.
I love that.
Arthur lore.
Fear the Eel. The lore of Arthur. The Arthur origins. Fear the Eel. That's why an aardvark can talk. There was a fucked up eel. We are not talking about Arthur lore right here. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back here in just a minute. While we take this brief intermission, please check out the description. We're not going to do an ad break. This is all I'm going to say. Check the description, follow the links, and check out the different ways that you can support the podcast if you feel so inclined to do that. And we will be back soon. Buy some Altoids. Fuck it. We're not sponsored by them, but go buy some fucking Altoids.
If we shout them out enough, we'll probably get sponsored.
Dream it and then be it and live it. Manifest it into reality. All right, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, and we're back from the intermission. I hope you had a nice little break. I know that I did.
I didn't quite really that well.
You didn't enjoy that? I thought we had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun. I just personally don't care for doing cartwheels in the hallway.
Well, it's how, when you've been sitting so long, you have to take breaks and do cartwheels. And I know that you don't like it, but it's part of the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's extracurriculars, but just not for me, man.
Continuing on with our horror stories. This is not a personal horror story, but I do have some loaded up that are pretty fucking cool.
I only want to hear them in haiku form.
Okay, I'm going to have to
Consolidate
quite a bit. That's a good word for it.
Spooky man is bad. I just peed a lot in pants. Where did my mom go?
Okay, that's good. So that's the first one. The next one is actually, there's this thread on Reddit. There's this certain Threadit that we're gonna go down, and it's stories from a search and rescue ranger, which is pretty interesting.
Rescue Hero. Did you ever have those Rescue Heroes?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Like
Were they
G.I.
little
Joes, but
action
they were-
figures? Yeah,
They were
like the police and,
Mhm.
and firefighters and stuff. Yep, totally had that shit.
Billy Blazes.
Billy
That's
Blazes?
one of the guys. I wonder what the Rescue Hero War is. That's another.
No.
episode.
So, here, let me tell you a little bit about this. I am not a huge Reddit frequenter. I never really have been, but I found this sort of. I don't know where I found this, but it was linked to. Oh, okay, here's where I found this. Sorry, guys.
Did you
I'm
find
all
it
over the
Reddit?
place. No, somebody had recommended it on a different, on a YouTube video I was watching,
Ooh.
and they were like, it was like a spooky stories one.
Mhm.
And they were like, you should read this thread. It's titled, "I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell." I'm not much of a reader, but I read like this entire thread of posts, which there are 8 total. I read that in one night, and I was scared shitless that night.
But the real question is, did you poop before you went to bed, or were you naturally shitless, or
No, I was scared shitless.
So you pooped your pants?
So I did poop my pants. I've made a list of some of the good stories, because basically it's like this person is telling their experience as a search and rescue officer, obviously, but every post has like 5 or 6 short stories from something that has happened to them. So I've gone through and I've picked them. So it's not really going to be like a chronological story, but if
Okay.
you feel kind of lost, they're not really supposed to be in order anyways. But you can follow the link, and I'll have that, and you can go through the whole thread and read them all. And some things will make more sense, but for the most part, you don't really have a lot of context anyway. So if you seem confused and you're like, what the fuck is going on, that's probably normal. Like, it's not just because I did pick and choose just stories that I like, but, you know, it's fine. There's some, like, connective context and shit, but you really don't need it. All right, let's get into it.
Cool.
Dylan, would you like to read our first story?
Okay. You want to just back and forth one word each?
No. God, no. If you want, I can do this.
Oh, perfect.
And it starts here.
Okay. Do you want me to read
Or
the
actually,
introduction?
yeah, you can
Okay.
you can read all that.
Do I need to do a spooky voice? But not like too spooky?
Whatever. Search and rescue ranger voice. Do that.
I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured I'd share them here. I've been an SAR officer for
Sorry, I had to check your levels. I just moved the screen where you need it. Sorry.
back to character. I've been an SAR officer for a few years now, and along the way I've seen some things I think you guys will be interested in. I have a pretty good track record for finding missing people. Most of the time they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff. They can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old stay where you are thing, and they don't wander far. But I've had 2 cases where that didn't happen. Both bother me a lot, and I use them as motivation to search even harder on the missing persons cases I get called on. I was the first little boy out there berry picking with I read that wrong.
Not quite what the text
No,
says.
not quite. Not I was the first little boy. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time.
I was the first little boy. I was the first little boy out there berry
He was just
picking.
excited to be out there berry picking. I was always the first little boy out there berry picking.
Oh my god. All right, sorry.
The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. Their parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, the kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out there to search the area. We found the daughter pretty quickly, and when we asked where her brother was, she told us that he'd been taken away by the bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, that he wanted to play with her brother for a while. Well, as she saw her brother, he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man and seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was abduction, but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl was also insistent that he wasn't a normal man, but that he was tall and covered in hair like a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched that area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of that kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mom and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she'd never come back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name before they called for help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she could possibly have gone, because neither her mother or grandpa saw her coming down.
Ooh. Good stuff. So that's story one.
Story one.
I figured for the first post, for anyone who wants to listen along and like actually go look at these posts later on, I'll let you know which stories from which posts we're reading. For the first post, I figured we'd go ahead and read all of the stories. I think it's like 4 or 5 short stories. If you want, I can get the next one. We can take turns.
Okay. And the rest of my voice after that voice.
My character is I'm gonna have a little bit of a different approach for my character.
Oh, sure. Yeah, do what you want.
A few times, I've been out on my own searching with a canine, and they've tried to lead me straight up cliffs. Not hills, not even rock faces. Straight, sheer cliffs with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases, we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff or miles away from where the canine has led us. I'm sure there's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. End.
Spooky. Ooh. Spooky Sundays. These aren't ever on Sundays, are they? I mean, like...
No.
No. Well...
Wait, is that what day we... Oh, yeah, they're on Sundays.
We film on Sundays, usually.
Yeah, and then I post the following Sunday. Yeah.
Or ja.
Okay.
Or is it Monday? I don't know.
No,
Never
it's
know.
Sundays.
Okay.
We do... Sundays is our upload day.
Ah, cool. Do I read that top one?
Yes.
One particular sad case involved the recovery of a body. A 9-year-old girl fell down an embankment and got impaled on a dead tree at the base. It was a complete freak accident, but I'll never forget the sound her mother made when we told her what happened. She saw the body bag being loaded into the ambulance, and she let out the most haunting, heartbroken wail I've ever heard. It was like her whole life was crashing down around her, and a part of her had died with her daughter. I heard from another SAR officer. Is it just SAR officer or?
I always read it as SAR.
Okay.
But you could say SAR or Search and Rescue, whatever you feel is fitting.
And another SAR rescue officer. I heard from another SAR officer that she killed herself a few weeks after it happened.
Oh my goodness.
She couldn't live with the loss of her daughter.
Wow. That's not good. Have you seen Hereditary?
No.
Fuck you. It's a good film.
We've talked about this.
I know, and I keep thinking that you're gonna see it.
I don't know. I won't watch it on my own. Like if you ever want to watch it, I'll watch it. But I won't watch it on my own.
It's so fucking good. All right, now it is my turn to read one of these. I was teamed up with another search and rescue officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from a climbing trip when he was supposed to, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get where we figured he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevice with a broken leg. It was in a small crevasse with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. He'd been there for almost 2 days, and his leg was very obviously infected. We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine, and when he'd gotten to a top, a man had been there. He said the guy had no climbing equipment, and he was wearing a parka and ski pants. He walked up to the guy, and when the guy turned around, he said he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he'd fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night, climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible muffled screams. That story bothered the hell out of me. I'm glad I wasn't there to hear it.
Wow.
That's some spooky shit.
I'm definitely not a search and rescue officer, but I do kind of feel like if someone's hurt, the worst thing you can do is put them in a chopper. Like, are you just trying to get them more hurt? Like, you just like chop.
All right.
Slap chop.
Stick him in the chopper. Hey, slap chop here. I'm here to sell you a chopper. This is one of those weird alternate realities.
Hey, slap chop here.
But what is a slap chop?
What is a slap chop? We're going to go through the lore of slap chop next episode.
The lore of slap chop. It's all one huge conspiracy. Oh, gosh.
Season 2 is going to be lit.
Let me see this. Okay, we have 2 more stories in this first post, and then we can discuss a little bit.
Okay.
It's your turn?
Yeah.
All right.
One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved a search for a young woman who'd gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out until late at night because the dogs picked up her scent when we found her. She was curled up under a large rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack, and she was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries, and we were able to get her to walk back with us to base ops. Along the way, she kept looking behind us, asking why, quote, that big man with black eyes was following us. We couldn't see anyone, so we just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to base, the more agitated this woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going to go with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. I don't really know how else to describe it. When we were within sight of base ops, the woman turns to me. Her eyes are about as wide as I can imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder and says, "He says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck." I have a very small scar at the base of my neck, but it's mostly hidden under my collar, and I have no idea how this woman saw it. Right after she says it, I hear the weird coughing right in my ear, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to ops, trying not to show how freaked out I was, but I have to say I was really happy when we left that area that night.
Damn.
The tale of the vicious coughing.
The coughing. How spooky.
Or the coffin.
God damn it, Dylan, stop. He's peaked for 45 seconds straight.
Oh, man.
Just kidding.
Yell that long.
I know. It just knew. Here's the last one of the post. I will be reading this story.
What?
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 All right. This is the last one I'll tell, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every search and rescue unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with the other search and rescue officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it.
My bad.
Dylan, god damn it.
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't even seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, I'm talking 30 or 40 miles, at some point we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs in your house, cut them out, and then put them in the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me not to worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very empathetically that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them, because it happens so frequently. And that is the end of emphatically.
Emphatically.
I said the wrong word.
Would you
I said empathetically?
I think yeah.
I said a word that wasn't there.
Yeah, I thought that
made
you
up my
pronounced
own
it
word.
wrong, but I was like, maybe you pronounced it right. I have a lot more stories.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot more stories, and I suppose if anyone's just interested, I'll tell some of them tomorrow. If anyone has any theories about the stairs. I mean, I have a theory about the stairs.
I'd like to hear your theory about the stairs.
Okay, so according to very popular rock and roll tunes, what else has a stairway? The Highway to Hell.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Okay. That's an
So,
interesting take on
You're
it.
going downstairs
Mm-hmm.
on the Highway to Hell.
That's
That's what they call the man downstairs. Satan.
what they call him.
There's my theory. It's a fact.
Wow. That's pretty good. So the stairs go to hell. And that's why you don't
Stairway
want to go on them.
To the Highway to Hell.
It's the stairway to the highway to hell.
Well, actually, I mean, it's not necessarily a stairway to the Highway to Hell. It's more of like the stairway running alongside the Highway to Hell, to where you can
the
take the
stairway
escalator or the stairway
adjacent.
or the highway. It's my way or the highway, and my way is the stairs.
There's a lot of ways to get to hell.
Yeah.
But you already knew that.
You already knew that.
You already knew that. You know what's up.
Gonna take you downstairs.
So
Downstairs.
the search and rescue thread that we're reading from, basically it started with this one. Obviously this is the first post, but it had this huge following, and
Yeah.
there's even a subreddit dedicated to it now that's called like r/stairs in the woods or something like that. But it got pretty big.
If you want to read this post, it's at https://www.reddit.com/r/no sleep/I'm_I_j_in_t6/I_us_forest/
And in the time, we still haven't loaded up the fucking webpage, or else I would have just started reading. Now we're on our second one. There's one story from the second post that I would like to read. And
pick and choose.
Third one, apparently. But it's definitely not the third story down, so I don't know why I had marked it as that. One of my first jobs as a trainee was a search op for a 4-year-old kid that had gotten separated from his mom. This was one of those cases where we knew we were going to find him because the dogs were on a strong scent trail, and we saw clear signs that he was in the area. We ended up finding him in a berry patch about half a mile from where he'd last been seen. Excuse me. Kid wasn't even aware that he'd wandered that far. One of the vets brought him back, which I was glad for because I'm not really good with kids, and I find it hard to talk to them and keep them company. As my trainer and I are headed back, she decides to take me on a detour to show me one of the hot spots where we tend to find missing people. It's a natural dip in the land near a popular trail, and people will usually move downhill because it's easier. We hike out here. It's a few miles away, and we get there in about an hour or so. As we're walking around the area, and she's pointing out places she's found people in the past, I see something in the distance. Now, this area we're in is about 8 miles from the main parking area, though there's back roads you can take to get closer if you don't want to hike that far. But we're on state-protected land, which means there can't be any kind of commercial or residential development out there. The most you'll ever see is a fire tower or makeshift shelter that homeless people think they can get away with building. But I can see from here that whatever this thing is has straight edges, and if there's one thing you learn quickly, it's that nature rarely makes straight edges. I point it out, but she doesn't say anything. She just hangs back and lets me wander over and check it out. I get within about 20 feet of it, and all the hair on the back of my neck stands up. It's a staircase in the middle of the fucking woods. In the proper context, it would literally be the most benign thing ever. It's just a normal staircase with beige carpet and about 10 steps tall. But instead of being in a house, where it obviously should be, it's out here in the middle of the woods. The side
Stairs are in houses?
Well, they should be, but actually
it says
they're
obviously, but I didn't think it was that obvious.
They could be really anywhere where you want to change your elevation by walking.
So people who don't want to jump,
right,
take stairs.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The sides aren't carpeted, obviously, and I can see the wood it's made of. It's almost like a video game glitch where the house has failed to load completely and the stairs are the only thing visible. I stand there and it's like my brain is working overtime to try and make sense of what I'm seeing. My trainer comes and stands next to me, and she stands there casually, looking at it as if it's the least interesting thing in the world. I ask her what the fuck this thing is doing here, and she just chuckles. Get used to it, rookie. You're gonna see a lot of them. I start to move closer, but she grabs my arm. Hard. I wouldn't do that, she says. Her voice is casual, but her grip is tight, and I just stand there looking at her. You're gonna see them all the time, but don't go near them. Don't touch them, don't go up to them, just ignore them. I start to ask her about it, but something in the way she's looking at me tells me that it's best if I don't. We end up moving on, and the subject doesn't come up again for the rest of my training. She was right, though. I'd say about every 5th call I go on, I end up running across a set of stairs. Sometimes they're relatively close to the path, maybe within 2 or 3 miles. Sometimes they're 20, 30 miles out, literally in the middle of nowhere, and I only find them during the broadest searches or training weekends. They're usually in good condition, but sometimes it looks like they've been out here for miles. They probably meant to say years. Because that doesn't make sense.
They've been out.
Yeah. Sometimes it looks like they've been out here for miles.
It's a coastal run in less than 3 parsecs.
All different kinds, all different sizes. The biggest I ever saw looked like... The biggest I ever saw looked like they came out of a turn-of-the-century mansion and were at least 10 feet wide, with steps leading up at least 15 or 20 feet. I've tried talking about it with people, but they just give me the same response my trainer did. It's normal, don't worry about it, they're not a big deal, but don't go close to them or up them. When trainees ask me about it now, I give them the same response. I don't really know what else to tell them. I'm really hoping someday I can get a better answer, but it hasn't happened yet.
Now, question for you.
All right.
Being as we're both curious people, would you go up those stairs?
If it didn't look like they were going to anything, if I felt drawn to them, obviously. For sure I'm going up there. If I'm like, whoa, these are creepy, let me fuck with these, yes. But if they just look like, if they're like an old rundown set of steps, no, I'm not going to go up them.
Okay.
Realistically, if I saw like a concrete set of stairs or something like that I knew were sturdy, I'd go up them and like take a picture and be like, look at how weird this is.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I would.
Yeah.
I think that I'm not like spooked enough by like spooky stuff like that to warrant like not, especially if I saw them that frequently.
Yeah.
Like I'm
like
very,
I'd have to fuck with them.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You ready to read?
Sure.
So now we are on the third post, and we're going to read the third, fourth, and sixth story from this post, because this is a really good one.
Oh, good.
So you can get us started, Dylan?
I honestly don't know. I'm not doing my voice anymore.
Okay.
I honestly don't know how I'd forgotten this story, but it is by far the scariest thing that's happened to me. I guess maybe I tried so long to forget about it that it just didn't come to mind right away. As someone who spends literally all of their time in the woods, you don't ever want to let yourself get scared of being alone or out in the middle of nowhere. That's why when you have experiences like this, you tend to just forget about them and move on. This is, to date, the only thing that's ever made me really seriously consider if this job is right for me. I don't really like talking about it much, but I'll do the best I can to remember it all. As I recall, this took place right at the end of spring. It was a typical lost child call. A 4-year-old girl had wandered away from her family's campsite and had been missing for about 2 hours. Her parents were completely despondent and told us what most parents do. My kid would never wander away. She's so good about staying close. She's never done anything like this before. We assure the parents that we'll do everything we can to find her, and we spread out in a standard search formation. I was partnered with one of my good buddies. Hey, like me.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I'm in this story. I was partnered with one of my good buddies, and we were sort of casually holding conversation while we hiked. I know it sounds callous, but you sort of become desensitized when you've done this long enough. It becomes the norm, and I think to a certain extent you have to learn to desensitize yourself in order to work this job. We searched for a good 2 hours, going well beyond where we think she'd be, and we come out of a small valley where something makes us both stop in unison. We freeze and we look at each other, and there's almost this sensation like a plane depressurizing. My ears pop, and I have this odd sensation of having dropped about 10 feet. I start to ask my buddy if he felt that, but before I can, we hear the loudest sound I've ever heard in my life. It's almost like a freight train passing directly by us, but it's coming from every direction at once, including above and below us. He screams something to me, but I can't hear him over this deafening roar. Understandably freaked out, we look all around us, trying to find the source of the sound, but neither of us sees anything. Of course, my first thought is a landslide, but we're not near any cliffs, and if we were, it would have hit us by now. The sound goes on, and we're trying to yell to each other. But even standing close together, we can't hear anything but the sound. Then, as suddenly as it starts, it stops, like someone threw a switch and it cut it off. We stand there for a second, perfectly still, and slowly the normal sounds of the woods come back. He asked me what the fuck just happened, and I kind of shrug. We stand there looking at each other for a minute. I get on the radio and ask if anyone else just heard the end of the fucking world, but no one else hears it, even though we're all within shouting distance of each other. My buddy and I sort of shrug it off and keep going. About an hour later, we all check up on the radios, and no one's found the little girl. Most of the time, we won't search when it gets dark, but because we didn't have any kind of lead on her, a few of us decide to keep going, including me and my buddy. We keep close together, and we're calling out for her every couple minutes. At this point, I'm hoping beyond hope that we find her, because while I may not like kids, the idea of them being out all alone in the dark is awful. The woods can be intimidating to kids in the daylight. At night, well, it's a whole different beast. But we're not seeing any signs of her or getting any responses, and around midnight we decide to turn and head back to the rendezvous point. We're about halfway back when my buddy stops and shines his light to the rest of us into a really thick deadfall or group of dead trees. I ask him if he heard a response, and he just tells me to be quiet for a second and listen. I do, and in the distance I can hear what sounds like a kitten crying. We both call the girl's name and listen for any kind of response, but it's really just this faint crying. We head the direction of this deadfall and go around it, calling her name over and over. As we get closer to the crying, I start getting this weird feeling in my gut, and I tell my buddy that something isn't right. He tells me he feels the same way, but we can't figure out what it is. We stop where we are and call the girl's name again, and at the same time, we've both figured it out. The crying is on a loop. It's the same little hitching sob, then wail, then quiet hiccup, repeated over and over. It's exactly the same every time, and without saying another word, we both take off running. It's the only time I've ever lost my composure like that, but something about it was so incredibly wrong that neither of us wanted to stay out there anymore. When we both got back to the rendezvous, we asked if anyone else heard anything strange, but no one else knew what we were talking about. I know it sounds sort of anticlimactic, but that fucked me up for a long time. As for the little girl, we never found a trace of her. We keep an eye out for her and all the other people who we've never found, but frankly, I doubt we'll find anything.
Ooh. That's pretty creepy.
Boy.
The thought of, like, hearing crying on a loop.
Yeah.
That, I don't know what it is about that, but that fucked with my lizard brain a little bit.
It's like a premeditated Billy Whopper. That's what crying on a loop is.
Crying on, okay.
Like someone's...
Yeah, someone's baiting you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked. That's scary as shit. Yeah, it's like someone is purposely trying to get someone to where they are.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that someone.
Not me.
Either of
Not
those
you.
someones.
Not them.
Not her or him or them or anyone.
Or the animals.
Of course. Maybe a few animals.
Maybe a few.
Maybe it's the animals who are doing
The
it.
tasty ones.
Ah.
Like
Like
you eat us,
squirrels?
Squirrels?
Have you ever eaten squirrel?
I've never eaten squirrel, but I've meant to. Like, it's not like I've chosen not to. I've just never had an opportunity. You had bear?
No.
Oh, I like bear.
I had squirrel when I was very young one time. A family member was hunting, and they hunted squirrels, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And they made squirrel and dumplings. And I didn't know it was squirrel until, like, after I had already eaten it.
Huh. That's crazy. You know what I've tried for the first time, like, in the past month?
What is that? What was that?
What was it? I think it was lamb. I tried lamb.
Was it like? Did you eat like a Greek food or something?
No, it was at 28 Springs. They had like a lamb. They had like a lamb special, and I was like, I've never had lamb before, and might as well try it.
Might as well.
And it's like have you ever had it?
I've only had it in like the Greek dish where they like cook it on the spinning thing and then slice it.
It was like, I don't know. It was like a lamb steak almost, but it tastes like a roast.
Yeah, it tastes like a poor quality beef to me.
Yeah.
It's like a weird. It's the closest thing I can describe it to is beef.
Yeah.
But it's like a weird beef.
It just like like roasted potatoes. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
That's what it tasted like for me, and like just kind of not necessarily as pull apart consistency of it, but it had more of that consistency. Mm-hmm. So, anyways,
lamb is strange.
Back to the news.
What do you think about these search and rescue stories?
Well, he's pretty shitty at it if he hasn't rescued anybody. He's good at the searching part.
He does. I've just chosen out the ones that I thought were the weirdest. Mm-hmm. Here, okay. Oh, I'll kind of finish up with. I'll skip some of them. I made a huge list of like different ones we could read, but we have gone on a lot of tangents, and we're at like an hour 40 minutes ish right now.
Oh wow!
So I'll probably just read like my two favorite stories from this series. I'm gonna get those going, and then we can talk a little bit more and kind of wrap up a little bit. That's generally the direction the podcast has taken most of the time.
Yeah,
we talk a little bit, this and that. We do what we can. The story that we're reading now is in the 5th post. And it is the 3rd story down. This is one of my favorites. This isn't my favorite, but this is one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, this is the wrong one.
This is my favorite room.
I'm sorry, I hyped this one up. That's the wrong one.
This is my favorite room.
This is my favorite room.
You ever seen that with Cass and G, the hot girls?
Yes,
Cribs.
the breakfast room. Is that what
This
you're
is
talking about?
my favorite room, the breakfast room.
And then every single room she says that. Yeah. Oh my god, that's been
So
so
long
long.
ago.
That's like OG like YouTube sketches.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Cass and G. Does he still do stuff?
I don't think so. I haven't seen Cassim G in years. He
Right.
kind of like he was that same generation of like Lisa Nova and like Swift Karate Chop and shit that like
Yeah.
they started what a YouTuber is, but nobody knows where the fuck they are now.
Yeah. It's probably for the best.
Shane Dawson is like one of the oldest YouTubers that's still actually doing anything worth a shit these days.
Yeah.
From what I've
Ray
seen.
William Johnson.
Well, last
What?
I saw of him, he was doing like meme videos on Facebook, like the really cringy ones with the captions over, like hard captions on the video
Yeah.
with like the emojis at the top.
I saw that like some girl had taken his place on Equals 3, and then
Mhm.
like the show went to crap, and then
Yeah, he had the Robbie Motts replaced him originally.
Batsy Matzi.
Batsy Matzi replaced him, and then did the Zodiac killing, so they had to fire him. And then they got some other girl on there, and like everyone was pissed off that it was a girl. Like it was straight up like everyone's like mad that they had a girl on the show. That was it's
Wow.
pretty ridiculous.
Pretty ridiculous.
Pretty
You know
ridiculous.
what people say?
That's what the cool kids say.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find this
That's
story.
all good. I'm gonna switch to the beanbag chair while you find it.
All right, you do that. Okay. Oh God, this is my actual favorite story from the whole series. So I'm gonna start with this, and then I'll read my second favorite story. Actually, these are both tied for first, so these are my both my first favorite stories. And you're my first favorite friend. Thank you for
Aw.
listening. Let's get started.
All right.
So many stories of black-eyed people wandering around the woods and calling out in the night, mimicking the sound of running water or bobcat screaming. One man in particular goes to every news station he thinks will listen to him and tells them the same story. He was deer hunting. He had camped out in a very remote area and woke up because something was scraping against his tent. He thought it was a raccoon or a fox until the thing pressed its face against the door of the tent, at which point he could very clearly make out a human face and mouth. He kicked at it, but it leapt back and was gone by the time he opened the tent flap, gun at his side. He fired 2 warning shots, and when the sound had faded, he heard a snap behind him. A man was standing at the edge of the campsite. This man was not wearing any clothing, but he also didn't possess any kind of human flesh. As this hunter described it, the man was made of some kind of amalgamation of raw meat and hair, as if someone had scooped up roadkill and molded it into the vague shape of a human. The face was lumpy and only a rough approximation of a human face. The thing opened its lopsided mouth, and from it came the sound of the gun the hunter had fired. It did this twice before mimicking the sound of the tent zipper and fleeing into the night. Ugh, that one fucks me up.
Wow.
That is so fucking creepy to me, and all you have to say is wow.
Sorry, dude. I'm so fucking sober right now.
You're
I'm
so
so,
sober.
fucking sober right now, dude. It's not even crazy.
Holy shit, it's not even
Not
crazy.
even crazy.
So sober, it's not even crazy.
I'm so sober, it's not even crazy. That's
This-
a t-shirt idea.
That's a pretty good one.
Ty Turner brand cut off.
Love
I'm
that.
so sober, it's not even crazy.
I like that. Can you imagine? God,
Knocking out a tent zipper.
the fucking I don't even know how to respond to you. I'm genuinely horrified, and that's what you have to say. It opens its mouth and it makes the gun sound. That freaks me out. That's like the same kind of eerie that like hearing crying on a loop.
That's
like
kinda-
hearing a
that's
recording of crying.
Same kind of eerie as lakes are based on.
Shut the
Lake
fuck
Erie.
up, Dylan. You're fired from the podcast. Now,
Now a poem by Dylan.
well, that's all the search and rescue stories we're gonna read. So we're gonna move on to this final story that I would like to share, which is a true story,
Spooky,
not by me. It's just one I found on Reddit.
Uh-huh.
And Dylan, you're up for narration.
I'll read it.
Cool.
Okay. Many moons ago, I was an assistant director of training security at a park known for its cartoon mice. That's weird. What park is known for cartoon mice? Okay. While doing the walk around the park with a group of new hires, I got a call about a possible indecent exposure incident at Fantasyland. Knowing that was the most popular place for children in the park, so much more than Toontown, I rushed the new hires to the backstage area to cut travel time. While we were backstage behind the Small World ride, one of my trainees pointed out someone dropping their pants and leaning against the building. Before we had a chance to close the distance between us and the guy, a blast of brownish yellow liquid exploded outwards in a fan. Is this really scary, or is this just about a guy pooping?
I think it's pretty scary.
Okay. A blast of brownish yellow liquid explodes outwards in a fan pattern. I stopped the group, got on the radio, and informed them of the bio incident, and then slowly made my way to the guy. When I was about 10 feet from him, he looked up, smiled, and then blasted the wall again. Without a word, he pulled up his pants and started to walk away. His pants were soaked with liquid shit and piss. Before he was able to leave the area, Anaheim police apprehended him. After questioning, they called for an ambulance. Upon talking with the police sergeant, found out he was a well-known homeless man in the neighboring city of Orange, usually picked up for swinging his dick at traffic. The kicker, though, was he wasn't the subject of the initial call. When we finally got to Fantasyland, we found out that someone was complaining about a woman breastfeeding. 3.5 years of working there, and that is one of the events that still is fresh in my mind. What is the mask written on?
This is the amusement park employees of Reddit. What is your horror story?
Oh,
so it is a horror story.
It is a horror story. What?
So yeah, I thought I'd share that just in with that because that's some true terror.
That's some true Tower of Terror.
Ooh,
Trademark.
good.
Ooh,
that was good.
Yep.
All right. Well, we are
Have I ever
nearing 2 hours, dude.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Have I ever told you my story about the Tower of Terror?
No, I'd like to hear it.
Or I think it was Tower of Terror. Basically, when I was in 10th grade, our marching band went on a trip to Pasadena, California for the Rose Bowl parade. And we went to Disneyland or is that the one in California, Disneyland?
Yes.
Yes. We went to Disneyland 2 days. Well, the first day, I didn't know that we could go to California Adventure, so we stayed in Disneyland the whole time, which wasn't...
What is California Adventure?
California Adventure was like a separate theme park by Disney that had it was more geared towards like teenage and adults. Like had a lot of nude models.
Interesting.
Blood everywhere.
Wow.
No, it was just like the more intense rides, like more intense than like the teacups and all that.
Cool.
That's where the Tower of Terror was. So we on the second day we're like, okay, well, let's go hang out in California
In the
Adventure.
Tower of Terror.
Yeah, so we went and we had some friends getting the line at Tower of Terror, and me and another friend went.
Scaled the building.
We went and scaled the building, and
Wow.
we jumped off and we flew down to this store where you got to make your own lightsabers.
That's so cool.
It was cool because it was like right after Disney bought Lucasfilms.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like a make your own lightsaber shop. Well, I get a phone call from one of the chaperones there, and she says, "Hey, Mr. So and So, the director, the band director, needs to see you like immediately." I'm like, okay. And so I call him, and he says, "Meet me out by the bus." So I go all the way, like, basically it's like one end of the park is Tower of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go, like, right here's the gate to California Adventures. Right here's the gate to Disney World.
For listeners, he's moving his hand around.
It's
That
about
way you
like
can know
opposite sides of the map.
distance.
Like here is Tower of Terror, California Adventure start, Disney World start, where we were. So like we had to walk all the way out to like right here. After we had walked from one side of the park to the complete opposite side to build a lightsaber, walk back to the middle, and the director goes,
I will illustrate a map, and I'll put that on the screen.
I anticipate you doing that.
Okay.
He said, so I got a question for you. And I said, yeah. He said, did you load your uniform up on the bus? I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. He goes, well, that's weird because the uniform number that was assigned to you ended up being left in the Disney World dressing room. Because we did a parade through Disney World. So it got left in the Disney World dressing room. And they told me they found it right as they were locking it up. And I said, I thought I put it in the truck. Well, apparently I hadn't, and so my
Uh-oh.
punishment was, since our bus had already left, since our semi truck that had all of our uniforms and instruments on it had already left, I had to spend the rest of the day at Disneyland with my uniform, which meant I
dang.
couldn't get on any rides.
Why not?
Couldn't because I couldn't. I mean, where was I going to
You
put
put
it?
it in the cubby hole. Isn't there cubbies?
I mean, there were, but not big enough for a band uniform. This was like a 3-piece suit complete with coveralls and like sequins and stuff.
You
That
should have just wore it, dude.
along with my marching shoes, that I had to hold on to and couldn't go on any rides.
You know what? You totally could have, though, because there are so many gift shops there. If you would have found like one of those drawstring backpacks and just stuffed that stuff in there,
True.
you could have stuck the backpack in
True.
the cubby, dude.
Well, I had this friend of mine who was with me, and he goes, well, I'll just hang out with you. He's like, I don't necessarily go on any rides. So me and one
That's
of
so
my friends
nice.
just walking around Disney World, not really going on any rides, just hanging out. It was cool, but it sucked. So fuck Disney World, fuck California Adventure. I never got to go on Tower of Terror. We had to call my friends and say we're not getting in line, so you go ahead.
Damn, that's unfortunate, man.
It's just not fair, man.
That kind of sucks. Was nobody? Were none of the band people like? Were there no cars there where you could just go put the uniform
No,
in the car?
because like we all flew there, and there was like we took
Where were your suitcases? You had a suitcase, right?
in the hotels. The suitcases were in the
Oh.
hotels. We took shuttle buses to and from the park. The shuttle buses had already gone back to wherever, and they were going to come back and pick us up. The semi that had all of our uniforms on it had already left to go back to the hotel
Mhm.
because it wasn't needed. So we were like just kind of stranded there as far as transportation.
I gotcha.
And like the director's like, I'm not gonna waste my trip holding on to your uniform, which is fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And he wasn't gonna ask any of the parents to do it, so I had to do it since I forgot, and that was my responsibility. It's like, all right, Captain.
Man, that's unfortunate.
That's
though.
my spooky, scary story about the Tower of Terror.
That is spooky. Well, the ride, as little as I learned about it from that story, sounds fun.
Basically, all it is, you get in an elevator, you go up, and then you go down.
And then you go down, and there's some spooks along the way.
A little bit of spooks.
Guys, I hope you have the happiest of Halloweens.
I hope that you have the Deathly of Hollows.
And
To all, good night.
to all a good night. Thank you so much for listening. We're gonna have some special episodes coming up.
Yeah. We're going to do a
We're
Thanksgiving.
gonna have a Christmas. We're gonna have a Thanksgiving
We're
and a
gonna
Christmas.
discover the conspiracies behind Christopher Columbus, such as the fact that he was a woman.
Wow.
More on that at 5.
Interesting.
Uh,
I never even. You can't tell. You couldn't even tell.
No, I mean, show me a photograph of Christopher Columbus. You can't.
Wow.
It's because Christopher in Spanish translates to Christina, which translates to Christy, and Christy is Christopher Columbus.
Huh.
Did you know that?
And then there was like lots of genocide and
Yep. Genitalia.
diseases. Some of that. So that's That's a lot to think about.
Yeah. So we'll dive into that.
We're gonna dive into a lot
We're
coming up here pretty soon. Lots of special episodes, and then we're gonna come back with season 2, and we're gonna have some new things. We're gonna shake it up for you guys and
We're
try
gonna
and make it
shake
real
and
fun.
bake.
We're gonna
Yeah.
shake and bake. Happy Halloween. We will see you soon.
Post pictures of your costumes on Facebook.
Yes.
Whether we will see it, you never know.
I won't because I don't have
What
a
if you
Facebook.
just Google Halloween costumes Facebook #Ty Turner?
Yeah. Go ahead and do that and let me know what you see.
Oh, you want me to Google it?
No, I want the listener to Google it.
But why not you Google it?
I don't think I can figure that out. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. It's been dope. This is kind of wrapping up season 1 of the episode of the fucking series.
Yeah.
Of the
And
show.
If you guys have any suggestions about things you want to see in future episodes next season, we're kind of taking this time to kind of get things figured out, and just let us know if you have any suggestions or if you have any ideas as far as the directions you'd like to see the podcast go. We love it.
For sure. Yes, we would definitely love that feedback from you guys. We're kind of formulating and refining, and we're going to come back and hit it really hard. But if you have things that you'd like to suggest or any ideas, you can totally tweet those at me at Partar400.
Or tweet them at me at as many underscores as you can have. Oh, wait, no, it's Jum with as many underscores as you can have.
I think the underscores are first.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think it's like 60 fucking underscores, Jum.
I don't... Let's see. I tweeted the other day. Oh, I tweeted at Dr. Pepper the other day.
Oh, of course.
That was the first time I've been on Twitter since I changed my name to Jum. Yeah, it's like as many underscores as you can have, and then Jum. So just look up Jum.
Tweet them to me. I'll see them for sure. Dylan doesn't use Twitter very often is the only thing. I totally have him send them to you, but I just...
Well, I get notifications for every tweet that's at me, so...
Oh, okay,
just
perfect.
because no one tweets at me, which is really sad.
Well, you got to tweet more, dude. You tweet like once every 2 years. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it's because people don't tweet at me. I tweeted complaining about Dr. Pepper, and then I tweeted, when in home, do as homies do.
I like that. That's sick.
You tweeted at Jum. And you said you were you were streaming Fortnite. I said, yeah, me too. Then,
I didn't even see that.
And then I tweeted a video of me pulling everything out of my pockets.
I think I saw that.
Huh?
I think I saw that.
That's all that I've tweeted this year.
You gotta get on it, man.
I don't even know. Like, I don't have that many things to even say. Like, as much as I talk, I can't. As much as I just can't.
I can't even. So, yeah, you can tweet them at Dylan. You don't know the number of underscores it is?
No, I literally I changed my name, put as many underscores as I could, and then it said, your username can't be this long. So I subtracted 3 and typed Jum.
Okay, so what you guys can do is write the word Jum, and then, in front of the word, put underscores until it won't let you put any more.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll work. And the name will be Dylan Van Sant, right?
Yeah, okay. I think so, yeah. The bio is 2016 Whig Party candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm at Partar400, and you can tweet those suggestions to either of us. Basically, right now I'm wrapping up a pretty weird fucking series that I was sort of experimenting with on my channel for this month. So my whole entire social media has been very strange this month, and that's why it's just a reflection of that. So don't think that I'm just like losing all my shit right now. I'm still fine and everything's fine. I know people have been kind of concerned. You're probably hearing this before I talk about this much because it's going to be a while before my next video. But like it's just everything's fine. Don't worry.
Just go ahead. It's never too late to jump on the bandwagon.
Jump on the bandwagon, and we will talk to you very soon.
Personally.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We'll see you. We'll see you in 10 minutes. We'll be over there. Bye.